choose to love with freedom flies from my heart where the light keeps shining. And I choose to feel the whole world crying for the strength that we can rise above. I choose love.
Hi, I'm Larry Reynolds from Grace Healing, and I want to reach out to you today in the midst of all that we're going through the coronavirus and, COVID-19 and all the different words that are being thrust around. And I'm a little concerned, but I do also want to prepare you that this video I'm going to try to do as short as possible, but you will need to invest time to understand the totality of knowledge that comes from this. This is not something that can be answered in a simple meme or the things we witness on social media that seem to be triggering people. And what I want to do is help people recognize how they can tune into the nature of God's presence and gain safe distance from the spiritual implications of what's unfolding. Not just the safe distance of the physical body, but to actually establish a distance between you and what's being conveyed spiritually throughout this process. So I just want to pray a blessing over you. And Yahweh lemekari barafaris mesipiushnu kundra Yahweh kambra Yeshua alamu tu yemene kutra abun sola ebne kuturiyes makayama turuya. So we establish first a holy protection over you, each of you that are listening, to remember and look back upon your experiences over the last 20 years. To look for the benchmarks where God has prepared you for exactly what you're going through today. This is not something to take lightly, and this is something to be encouraged by. As we see more science coming out, more knowledge being shared about the nature of what's going on with the virus, I want to remind you that everything we see of corruption manifested upon this earth begins first in the order of principalities, the spiritual realm. And what we are witnessing is an outgrowth of cellular corruption within humanity through ignorance, arrogance, greed, or oppression, whatever you want to call it. These spiritual things are beginning to produce a result. We're going to keep an attachment on this video that connects you to a couple videos that will explain to you exactly what's going on in the viral aspects. And then I want to help you understand how that transmutes into the spiritual aspect of what you're going through and how you've been prepared to deal with this. So many of you, in your own intuitive awareness, your own process of seeking healing, restoration, and renewal before God, and seeking your spiritual path for understanding, over these last 20 years, has been a tremendous shift in people. They've been moving away from non-organic foods. People have been moving away from hyper issues as far as anger, hostility. They're shifting. They want to move more towards the presence of God's love. Again, getting rid of the toxicity that comes from non-organic foods. People developing an awareness, like myself and many others, that it was important to shift to a vegan lifestyle because you would not want to consume death. You didn't want to consume suffering that was contained within the living creatures that were killed in the guise of sustenance for man, not knowing that God made full provision for men through the seeds, fruit-bearing trees, nuts, and all these things, that he made full provision for all these things through it. So as people have been walking through this, they've been also starting to learn the importance of surrendering into breath, breathing, meditating, greater expanse of meditation instruction throughout the nation and throughout the world. That people have been increasing, looking to the old practices of Kung Fu or yoga or any forms of spiritual meditation that would increase a person's ability to connect directly into the vibrational awareness of that which is God. You hear me speak often of Yahweh, the actual vibrational tone that speaks to the actual name of God. The original translation was Yahweh Elohim, that is my name, I am that I am. Call upon my name anytime you're in need of distress. So there is something important about the vibrational aspects of the human form. In addition, we've seen corporately throughout the world different things rise that are tied to the vibrational experience of what's going on within humanity and the globe as a whole. So, like, if you would honestly start seeking God instead of what's going on in the media or what's going on in the world, you may find that you are strengthened in the fact that God has positioned you for this exact experience. If you have ignored the intuitive awarenesses that God has been guiding you through, like getting rid of the toxins in your food, not buying junk food, making yourself move to a place where you bless all nutrients that you take into your body. And I know I'm touching these very quickly, but we've spoken of that many times within Grace Healing, the importance of recognizing the Eucharistic offering of all things received into you become the very nature of God's presence. The full transmutation of God's presence recognized as your body receives any form of nutrients into it. Then every utterance of your mouth, every word you speak that comes across your lips, that you would hold it before the presence of God, then speak words of life into any situation. So, with all that you see in the media, what they're doing is speaking words of fear, death, control, manipulation, oppression, all these different stuff. It's my hope to help people shift to an awareness of what is the God view in this. God has perfect view over all creation, limitless through time. Therefore, God can look in through creation and see the nature of that which is already completed, blessed, and holy. God's omnipresence, omnipotence precedes us in the completed form. If we would surrender into the God awareness, God presence, God within us, not external forces, not the winds of the earth, as they describe it in Scripture, not be governed by the winds of the earth, but the very nature of God's Spirit moving from within you to remind you of the gentle nudges you've received over the last 20, 30, 40 years, whatever it happens to be, actually since the major awakening that came about in the 60s, as there was a planetary shift and all kinds of things lined up, the Spirit of God moving more deeply within people and freeing people from the toxicity that was building up within the human race, starting really in the early stages of human development, but also magnifying into the 1900s through into 1917, where the first epidemic came upon humanity as we started to change how the globe functioned and extended electrical and radio frequencies over the planet. So we changed how our bodies respond to it. So again, if you are understanding the fact that you are on a spiritual journey, but you have taken a physical form, your body will evidence to you anything that is not godly in nature. So we've spoken before about the importance of understanding that if you're dealing with something of a spiritual nature, you will encounter things such as deep grief and sorrow, impressing upon the lungs discomfort, sickness, disease. So if there's grief, sorrow, sadness, these things would be lung-oriented disruptions. So if a person's a heavy smoker, yet they're not blessing the process of taking smoke into their bodies, yes, we should not be smoking. However, if you are, you should be centering upon the presence of God to bless it before it enters your body. Before you take it into your body, you bless it first to recognize God's presence within, and eventually you will be freed from being governed by that intake. And you will no longer need to intake that cigarette. However, if you are doing it, your intuition has been telling you all along, oh, I really need to quit smoking. There's got to be a point where you decide you need to listen to the intuition you've been given over the past 20, 30, 40 years. And as I watch people, I see that people are positioned for a greater healthy state for their bodies. They've surrendered taking in injections and medication and stuff that carry metals into the body. They've increased their centralized focus onto prayer first, seek God first, move to a place of seeking God first in all things. And that's our goal within Grace Healing, is to help people understand the importance of seeking God first in all things. So, you are a vibrational frequency antenna. You are receiving and transmitting different frequencies out into the earth, out into those that surround you. So, as you look at the videos that will be connected to this video, the links that will be connected, it is important that you understand that there is science to support these things. And the easiest way to look at it is if you make a phone call, you decide you have a friend in Japan you want to give a call to, you hit send on your little phone that you're carrying in your pocket, and it is instantly connected to Japan. Boom. It's not going through the old-fashioned method of a little woman sitting at a connector and she's running the cables and connecting them into a board and, oh, let me hook you up with Jim or let me hook you up with Susan. No, it is instantly connected throughout the energetic field that surrounds this earth, both through satellites and radio frequencies. So, if you can accept the fact that you yourself are an antenna, you receive emotive input, you receive vibrational input, and many emotions come from vibrational input. Have you ever been in a room with somebody where it's extremely tense, aggressive, hostile, and you can feel it? They even say that. You could cut it like a knife. You can feel the tension in a room. This is an awareness that you hold that there is a frequency change within that setting, and you can either move yourself out of danger, you can observe the danger, or you can enter into the danger. That's the same in this experience that we're going through with the coronavirus. It's evidencing toxicity throughout humanity. And what we've done is we've changed the order of how humanity is functioning upon this planet. And I'll leave the scientific description to the videos that we are connecting you to through this video, the links that you can hit on. And I will tell you that this supports all that we've been talking about from a scientific level, about understanding vibrational frequencies affecting the cells of a human body, affecting the cell of that which is the human earth, affecting the cells of the ocean as a mass. So we are having a vibrational influence evidenced in us, evidenced through us, and manifested in the behaviors we are witnessing, and cells of the human body rising up to evidence sickness and disease within the human body as a whole. And the way your cell works is as it produces or attaches to anything that is less than pure, it will excrete toxins. It will manifest poisons to get them out of your system. That works exactly the same way within the body of humanity. If you have done something to change the environment energetically, portions of the human body as a whole will start to show evidence. This toxicity, I can't adjust to, I can't resolve, I can't deal with this in my body, I become sick, I die, I pass away, I'm gone. The rest of the body of humanity has to pay attention and say, okay, I was guided by God over these past years to increase my focus upon prayerful awareness, to surrender into a place of not taking on so many food toxins, looking towards organic so I wasn't subjecting my body to further toxins, so that I would be ready, health-wise, spiritually-wise, to move toward the frequency that was God and away from the frequency that is being governed by so many through fear. If you settle in to the place of focused God presence, you can function in a vibrational awareness without fear, fully manifested in divine love, which gives you the ability to look into situations like we're facing, not through spiritual sympathy, but through divine love and compassion. So sympathy would be the demonic, compassion would be the divine. So you look upon situations with a compassionate awareness and wonder if God is moving you to act upon something. And if you're not getting specific instruction to do so, you don't act. You remain in the safe distance that you're being instructed to do. Beyond that, as you look at the video links that we've included here, you will start to learn how the cellular body functions. And I want you to possibly recognize that the knowledge that's being presented to you throughout the world is not to put you under subjection and fear. They want to present it to you like you're supposed to be under subjection and fear, but it is supposed to be presented to you in such a way that it is an instrument of revelation to help you know that not only was I moved and prepared by God to be moving in this direction already, but I commit to further those steps within that process, to purify my body even more, to move myself to a place that I am more deeply in center upon God's presence in every thought, word, and action. So here we are. We've been thrust out of the public realm. We've been thrust out of the corporate realm. We've been centered into the corporate realm that is the family, the home, the individual space. If we're a single individual, we are thrust into a place where we have the one connection, that which is God. If we can release the spiritual loneliness, the spirit of isolation, all these different things, and recognize this as a gift as blessed solitude, not spiritual isolation. And again, I know I'm covering a lot of ground this time. This is not something to be resolved with a simple meme on a Facebook. This is something where you need to do your homework to understand both the spiritual implications and the science that supports what's going on. So as I was receiving these revelations over these last couple of days, there was one that was just presented last night in a time of prayer that I was holding, and then it rose up as a friend of mine, Deanna, had sent some videos that were spot on in the nature of how this antenna is responding to the toxicity throughout the body of humanity. So please be encouraged that if you're in the process of seeking things on a spiritual level, or if you are in the process of seeking things on the health of your body, know that intuitively, in other words, God presence within you, has been moving you to be prepared in such a way that you will not be overladen or overtaken with all that's unfolding upon this earth. Continue to position yourself first within God. Look upon all situations that you measure as God guiding you through the holy attributes that are God's presence within you, and then relinquish anything that is not aligning with the holy attributes of God. And as I said the last couple of weeks, if you see any form of toxicity, rage, anger, frustration, depression, sadness, sorrow, grief, whatever, rising up, being directed at others, and you find yourself becoming angry that it has risen, you must sit in the presence of God. Release the anger that is within you first. Release the judgment that may form within your heart or the critical spirit. And honestly, relinquish it completely from yourself, that you would not have a veil between you and God, but you would center upon the presence of God for this situation and bring forth divine wisdom into it. That will never happen if you continue to remain in the embrace of anger, or the embrace of judgment, or the embrace of a critical spirit. You will continue to set that veil between you and the understandings of God's presence within, and you will sever your connection to intuitive awareness of how to position yourself within your place before God, your place within your home, and your place within your society. So just know that we at Grace Healing love you dearly, and we offer thanksgiving to know that even as things like epidemics or pandemics come upon the United States or the world, or all people walking on any parts of the planet, that you, as you seek the presence of God, will have clear understanding of how to be aligned with that nature and be protected from those things that people are not paying attention to God with. So be blessed. Please take the moment, the time, to click on the videos below. One is about maybe 12 minutes. The other one's about 20 minutes. These are powerful instruments to help you let go of some of the fears that have been thrust upon you. Fears through the media, fears through your friends, fears through your own thought process. Please relinquish the fears and open your heart to seek the science and knowledge that's presently coming to be available. Have an amazing day. Know that you are loved. We are with you and remain with you in prayer. And we are here if you wish to reach either myself, Ina Marie, Deb, anybody that is serving within Grace Healing. We are open to receive and serve you each and every day if you need greater understanding. We love you dearly. Take care and be blessed.
Yeah.